Greetings, heroes. It is I, your friendly neighborhood Rabbi John Carrier, and welcome to the Jew Curious Show. We are just about to get started with our last Fun Friday of the year 5779. Next time we have fun on a Friday, it's going to be 5780, and we're going to be talking all about that today. Wishing you a Shana Tova Umetuka, a happy new year, a sweet new year, a year of abundant blessings to you. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how Rosh Hashanah got its name, why it's called Rosh Hashanah, but the words Rosh Hashanah never appear in the Torah. It's called something else, which has been awkwardly translated as the Feast of Trumpets. So, I don't know if you've ever had a trumpet feast, but you might want to go see the dentist after that, because the trumpets will break your teeth, y'all. So anyway, not that I speak from personal experience. In just a second, we're going to get started after this brief musical interlude while I fill up my coffee, and then we'll talk a little bit about Rosh Hashanah. Make sure you ask whatever questions are still on your mind before this holiday, before we start the Jewish New Year, and then we'll have a little bit of fun with our friend Mario on his Super Mario Odyssey right after this brief, chill musical interlude. Welcome, hero, to the Jew Curious Show. Let's turn the microphone up and turn the music down. Maybe even we'll just keep a little dull roar right there. So welcome to the Jew Curious Show. It is I, your friendly neighborhood Rabbi John Carrier, and it is Fun Friday here on the Jew Curious Show. That means in a little bit we're going to be having some fun playing video games, which is what we do on Fridays. So we have a show Mondays and Fridays usually. I should tell you that we're not going to have the show on Monday for a little while, because next Monday is Rosh Hashanah. I'm going to be busy praying and celebrating the new year with my friends in Pasadena. So that's that Monday. Following Monday, I've got a Beit Din appointment. I'm already Jewish. I don't need to go to the Beit Din, but I'm sitting on a Beit Din for other reasons. And then the 2 Mondays after that are Sukkot. So we're not going to have our Monday show for a while. But I'm not going to get rid of Fun Friday if there's no reason to get rid of Fun Friday. So on Fridays, we're still going to be doing this at 9 a.m. Pacific time, lunchtime. I don't know when you eat your lunch, but 12 noon Eastern time. And on this show, we're here to answer your questions. Any questions you have. I have some questions about having a frog in my throat. Goodness gracious. A little bit of the Move juice. I want to just stop and plug the Swiss people for their amazing coffee. This is not Swiss Miss. This is some coffee that my wife just brought back from Switzerland. Hold on, I was talking about something else. And now I'm awake. So, the Jew Curious Show is for anybody who's curious about Judaism, whether you're Jewish, not Jewish yet, or no interest in being Jewish whatsoever. Maybe you're committed to another religion, but you're curious about the Hebrew roots of your own faith. Or maybe you're just a spiritual seeker trying on different paths, or just intellectually curious about the rich Jewish tradition, the heritage of wisdom, philosophy, legal thought, things like that. In any case, wherever you're coming from, if you're curious about Judaism, please feel free to drop in, say hello on the chat. You can lurk and learn if you want to. Just hang out and listen to what's going on, read the comments that people are posting. Or, if you're curious and a little bit brave, feel free to say hello already in the chat. We've got Nawa64 saying shalom, y'all. D-Willexon says Boker Tov L'Kulam. Good morning, everybody. KG Wilcox from Philadelphia says Shana Tova, everyone in Boker Or. That means Happy New Year, or good year, and good light, what is it? No, morning light. So that's it. There's Ocean Threat 2, Shana Tova. It's my friend Adam in DC. It's got to be fun where you are right now, buddy. I know Ocean Threat 2 is on a podcast that discusses politics. I don't know if anybody's discussing politics these days. But, you know, maybe it's a fad that'll come back. Who knows? Kay Dixie says, "Happy fall, y'all. Nice to have you there." That's right. It's fall now. It is officially fall. And yesterday was my parents' wedding anniversary. So I know you don't watch live streaming video games on the internet, but you know, happy anniversary to the Carriers. So wherever you were coming from, whatever questions you have left over about the High Holy Days, this is a great place to ask them. I'll answer them as best as I can. If I don't know the answer, I'll look it up for you and tell you later. And you can chat with us whether you are on Facebook or on YouTube or on, what's the other thing? Twitch. That's what we're doing here. Let me open up the multi-chat, see where we got people coming in from. Let's see, Heather Schneider says, Shabbat Shalom from Chicago. Shabbat Shalom to Chicago, Heather. Nice to see you here. And Dee Alexis says, Mazel Tov to your parents, Rabbi. They're still kicking it 44 years now. 44 years they've been married. So, wait a minute. No, it's 45 years. Because I'm going to be 44. So that means it's 4. So my parents have been married for 45 years, y'all. That's pretty cool. That's like, you know, longer than some careers, I think. So they're still kicking it live. They sent me a nice picture of themselves yesterday. My mom is hip to texting and sending photographs now, which is kind of cool. Let's see, we got Jamaica Russell says, blessings from the Bahamas. This might be our first time getting a shout out from the Bahamas. I bet it's sunny where you are. I hope no hurricanes or anything like that right now. So we got people coming in from the Bahamas. Sometimes we have people here from Cyprus. We are international, y'all, and coast to coast. I'm in California. I got some friends on the East Coast out here too. Brandy Pecora says, good morning, Rabbi. Good morning, Brandy. And Pretzel Rock's still playing some tunes. Tanjamika Russell says, just learning about Rosh Hashanah. Well, I hope you've come to the right place because we're going to be teaching about Rosh Hashanah. Before we get into see what our friend Mario is up to on his super duper odyssey, I just want to talk a little bit about Rosh Hashanah and how it got its name. So if you don't know this, Rosh Hashanah, the words Rosh Hashanah, which means head of the year or new year, beginning of the year, isn't in the Torah. There's a holiday in the Torah at this time of year. It says on the, let's see, I'm gonna guess around Leviticus 23:23, chapter 20, Leviticus or Vayikra if you're reading it in Hebrew, is in chapter 23, verse 23. It talks about this day of celebration, the first day of the 7th month. You will have a day of complete rest. Yom Zikaron Truah. So it means a day where you will commemorate with trumpets or trumpet blast. Truah is it's an onomatopoeia. Don't ask me to spell that. That's why I'm glad I'm talking right now, not writing things. An onomatopoeia is a word like boom or pop or something like that makes a sound. Truah means a trumpet sound or trumpet blast, like truah, something like that. I just can't believe I just sang that. But it says a Yom Zikaron Truah. It's a day of remembrance. Zikaron is like remembrance with trumpets, or you commemorate this day with trumpet blasts. And don't do any work. That's what it says. So don't do work. Remember this day with trumpet blasts. It's the first day of the 7th month, the first of the what is now in the Hebrew calendar called Tishrei. And so it's kind of weird that we have our New Year's Day on the first day of the 7th month. But back then, it wasn't even called like New Year's Day. It's only later in the Mishnah, which is a collection of oral history about the Torah that supposedly got started with God speaking to Moses saying, okay, write this stuff down. That's going to be the Torah. But let me explain some of this stuff to you because, you know, if you wrote down everything you needed to know, you know, we'd run out of rocks on this mountain to carve this into, and you'd be here for months and months, and people are already wanting you to come back. So I'm going to write this part down, and then I'm going to tell you this part. And God tells Moses. Moses tells his vice Moses, Joshua, who kind of leads the people into the promised land. Joshua tells the elders tell the prophets, and the prophets tell the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah, the people of the great assembly. And then, so this is an oral tradition of what's in the Torah, of what's sort of God explaining what's in the Torah. And later on it gets written down, and that becomes the Mishnah. And in the Mishnah, there's a Masechet Rosh Hashanah that's talking about New Year. but not just one new year, but it says in the beginning, Rosh Hashanah, the second Rosh Hashanah, chapter 1, Mishnah 1 says there are 4 Rosh Hashanahs. And there's a Rosh Hashanah for your cattle tithe, there's a Rosh Hashanah for trees. So Rosh Hashanah for trees is the 15th of Shvat, or Tu B'Shvat, if you've heard of that holiday. And the Rosh Hashanah for years, when marking the number of years total, like Anno Mundi, like the years since the creation of the world, that is the 1st of Tishrei. So it's almost like our New Year, if we had New Year's on July 1st. So just work with me here, it's a different calendar. So on July 1st, or rather the first day of the 7th month, which is actually not July, it's Tishrei, and it's happening in September sometimes, that's the day that we mark the change from the old year into the new year, from 5779 to 5780 in the year that I'm broadcasting this right now. And it's also the new year for counting the Shemitah years, the year of release of debts and indentured servants and things like that, and the Yovel, or Jubilee, which is the year of restoring property to their tribal ownership. So that's other parts of the Torah. But so this one concept of head of the year, Rosh Hashanah, even though it's applied to different times of year, now the most popular Rosh Hashanah is the one where we're marking the new calendar year, and that's what we're celebrating. Usually in like mid to late September, early October, something like that. It starts this Sunday night, which in the secular Gregorian year 2019 is going to be September 29th. That's this Sunday night. And then you have Rosh Hashanah for 2 days. And so that starts Sunday night, goes through Monday and Tuesday. And so just wanted to take this opportunity. This is the last time I'll be doing a broadcast of 5779. Happy New Year, everybody. So Shana Tova U'Metuka. May you have a good, sweet year filled with abundant blessings. And I just want to say it's been a really great year here in this community. For people who are joining us on the chat, some of you have been following me for a while. Some people are just showing up for the first time. That's cool, too. But this year we started, we had a podcast. It's a little bit more than a year old. But from that podcast, the Jew Curious Show has branched into this live stream where we're on twice a week, live streaming on Twitch and now simulcasting on YouTube and Facebook. I'm now able to read chats from all of those, as of last week, and now read chats from all of those platforms at once. And so we got Tater Tot 939 is in here saying good morning, Tater Tot 939. So we started the Jew Curious Show. It has morphed from a podcast, and we'll hopefully get back to some of our podcast roots pretty soon, but it's turned into this live stream show. We've also started the Jew Curious School, which as of this moment has about 50 students in it learning online. It's got a complete Intro to Judaism course. Some people who've taken that course are now getting close to the formal process of conversion. We've got other courses in there on all the different major holidays. We've got deep dives into things like Tshuva or Teshuvah, depending on how you pronounce it, and what that means. Like what's the Jewish technology or tradition of saying I'm sorry? What's the Jewish way of saying I forgive you? And why is it important that we forgive people, even sometimes when we don't feel like forgiving people? So we had a deep dive course on that we finished last week. And all these courses are recorded. You can jump in at any time, learn everything that we've learned together over the last year almost. I think it was the end of October when we started. But the last thing I want to say about that, my favorite part of the Jew Curious School, like this live streaming community, is the community itself. It's the people who show up. It's the people who come together for learning. It's the people who come together in our active community forum there and not just ask great questions, but also answer each other's questions. I answer what questions I can, but usually before I even get to it, somebody's already put in a very wise answer, and I just give it a thumbs up. And sharing resources, sharing their stories of their spiritual journey, and most, I think, important is sharing support with each other. Sometimes a spiritual path can be a struggle. Sometimes a learning journey can be a struggle. And people can get frustrated. And to have other people there who are on the path with you show up and say, you know what, I've been there too, I feel you, here's the way out, here's how I dealt with it. So that's been one of the most gratifying experiences of my whole 5779. So I just want to pause and say thank you. Thank you to all the people in the chat right now who are part of the Jew Curious School. If you're not part of the school, that's cool too. Just by showing up here, you're really showing your support for this learning that we're doing together and for each other. This is like hands down the kindest online community I've ever seen. Like I've been, I've seen Twitter. I've been on Twitter sometimes, and sometimes it's not so nice, and people are kind of mean to each other. Facebook, give or take, usually Facebook is sort of a walled garden with just people who agree with you anyway. But this community has been so kind and supportive of one another, and that's what I'm most grateful for. So thank you everybody for that. I was going to talk about Trumpet Day. Well, yeah, that's why it was called the Day of Remembrance of Trumpets. That's the biblical holiday. And so when people were translating the Torah, often, usually like not Jewish people who were translating the Torah, by the time it gets translated in the vernacular, we're already calling the first of Tishrei Rosh Hashanah since the Mishnaic times of a couple thousand years ago. But when, largely originally like Germans, this was like a big wave of, during the Protestant Reformation, of Germans translating the Hebrew and Greek scriptures, either from Hebrew or Greek or maybe the Latin Vulgate into vernacular German, and then it gets translated from there into like the King James Bible and things like that. They see this, Yom HaZikaron Truah, this day of remembrance of trumpets, and say, hey, all these other things we're translating like Chag HaSukkot. Chag means holiday, but it also means feast. So it means, the Feast of Booths, which is like the most awkward phrase ever. They say, oh, it's our booth holiday. It's like, I don't sit in a booth. I sit in a booth at Denny's. Like, yes, I've been to Denny's. I'm not bragging, but so Sukkot, it's more like a hut. It's not really a booth. Like when I think of a booth, I think of like going to a diner. But we have like the Feast of Booths and the Feast of Weeks, which is like the holiday of Shavuot, which is like a literal translation of Shavuot is weeks. And so they said, oh, here's a holiday with trumpets. We'll call it the Feast of Trumpets. And so if you read that, you might think that it's like people are standing around a long table. When I think of feast, I think of like medieval castles and people sitting around this feast and people in the back going, boop, and or actually eating trumpets. We don't do that, in case you were wondering. However, if you go to the synagogue on Rosh Hashanah, or if you're in some sort of, intentional spiritual gathering around Rosh Hashanah, there will be truahs going on. We don't use a trumpet like a brass trumpet. It's actually more like a bugle, technically, because it doesn't have valves and keys on it. And it's not made out of brass. It's made out of an animal horn that's been hollowed out. It's always from the Bovidae family, but not cows. It's not made out of cows, and I'll tell you why in a second. It's usually made out of like a ram's horn or an animal called a kudu. If you've ever seen those little corkscrewy shofars is what I'm talking about. Those come from an animal called a kudu, which is kind of like a gazelle with twisty horns. Just the simple curved one, those usually come from a ram, and but never a cow. And part of the reason why some people prefer ram's horns as opposed to like a kudu or something else is, and this gets into the reading on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, we read about the Akedat Yitzhak, or the binding of Isaac. And when Abraham's faith was tested and he was told to sacrifice his son, and at the last minute, he stopped from sacrificing his son, and this ram appears instead for him to complete his sacrifice. And so some say by blowing this ram's horn, we're sort of reminding God, this zikaron element, this commemoration, but we're also reminding ourselves of the covenant. And we're reminding God that we're related to this guy Abraham, who sort of passed the ultimate test of faith, and there was a ram in that story, so we blow a ram's horn. So we're reminding God, it's like, okay, God, this is like also important thing. This is considered like a day of judgment. This is where God decides like what kind of year we're going to have, and according to the Mishnah. And so when we're there for judgment, we say, hey, remember, we're related to your friend Abraham, or there was a ram in that story, but we don't use a cow's horn. And this is important because just like the ram's horn reminds God of a ram story, we don't want to go around reminding God of a cow story. So I was talking earlier about Moses going up and talking to God, getting the Torah, writing that stuff down. Well, Moses was gone for a while when he was writing all this stuff down. And the people sort of lost faith. They're like, our leader, Moses, who's been telling us all the stuff that God's saying, well, he's been gone for 40 days and 40 nights. So forget that dude. We need to start over with a new religion. Let's make a calf of gold. Or as Edward G. Robbins says in the Ten Commandments. Let's make a calf of gold, see? No, that's my Edward G. Robbins impression, or rather my impression of Bugs Bunny doing Edward G. Robbins, like back in the 50s. So he was in that, by the way. He was, I think he was Dathan, maybe. So in any case, the people make a calf of gold. God gets upset about that, to say the least. So when we make a horn that we're trying to get God's attention, we don't make it out of a cow, because, like, let's not tell the cow story right now. Let's tell the ram story. So that's why we have a shofar. That's why, because it says it's Truah Day, it's trumpet day, and that's why we make it out of a ram's horn or something like a ram, but never a cow. So now you know probably more than you wanted to know about Rosh Hashanah and what's with the shofars. I'll ask if you have other questions about Rosh Hashanah. Please feel free to throw those into the chat. And also, go ahead and put a question mark on it. It makes it way easier for me to see the questions if you put a question mark or 2 or 7 after your question. So before we get into Mario, I'm just going to look through the chat real quick to make sure I didn't miss any questions. A lot of people saying Happy New Year to each other. Let's see. And I'll say this: it's a confusing time of year because, you know, even after the Jewish New Year, you know, even after it goes from, you know, and this happened last year too, even after it went from 5778 to 5779, it was still like a month or so while I was still writing 5778 on my checks. That's my favorite Rosh Hashanah joke that everybody here has probably heard before. So let's see, just looking for some questions here. Before we get started, what's going on? Happy fall, y'all, says Kay Dixie. Tater Todd is here. D. Willexen's in the house. Nawa64, woohoo, approved for conversion, right on. Planning to talk with the rabbi after high holidays. That's awesome. Kay Dixie says, hi, Brandy on YouTube. Let's see what else is going on. Triggers and Viv is here. Boker Tov and Shabbat Shalom. It's almost Shabbat, too. Can you believe it? We're going to have a Shabbat and then Rosh Hashanah pretty quickly after that. So Naya Shashi says, good morning, Ruthie. Good to see you. Let's see. Trig and Susan's in the house. I think, did I see Miss Susan Bird around here somewhere? So Magic Turtle, S, what is it, 3138, says, lol. Good to see you here, Magic Turtle. All right, everybody. Now64 says, my spiritual path, especially as of late, has been emotional. Triggers and Viv, mine too. You know, it's emotional because it's important. That's kind of my take on it. Is often I get to have the privilege of sitting on a Beit Din when people are converting, and sometimes people, you know, get a little verklempt, get a little weepy, and that's normal. And the Av Beit Din, the head of the Beit Din, always has like a pack of tissues with him. And sometimes the stories are so emotional, I lean over and I'm like, can I have one of those tissues? And it's emotional, and people are like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm crying, and I'm like, no. This is clearly an emotional moment because it's so important to you, right? And there's nothing wrong with getting choked up when something is overwhelming for you in its significance to your life, right? And as another rabbi in the Beit Din always says, you know, tears are welcome in the mikveh. Often when people just go through, maybe they can hold it together through the Beit Din, but then they go in the mikveh and they come out and tears just start streaming down their face, and I'm getting a little choked up thinking about it. That's totally normal, perfectly natural, and it just goes to show you how important it is to you. So, quick plug for this wonderful. Let's see, I'm getting some text messages here. Anything good or just junk? Just make sure it's on my kid's school. Nope, it's Sprint. He's trying to sell me another iPhone. In any case, Boker Tov, everybody. Make a little blessing over my coffee here. Alrighty, so just that's some fantastic coffee. My spouse, life partner, wife, amazing lady in my life just came back from a business trip to Switzerland, and I wasn't really keen on the chocolate. Like I've had chocolate, and you know we had some truffles; those were pretty good. But she brought me back a big bag of roasted coffee beans that are just fantastic. So she had some good coffee in Switzerland, brought me back a bag, and that's what I'm drinking now. Sorry, Folgers. So with that, let's see. KG Wilcox says, One bee says to another, I could really go for some honey right now. His friend says, well, there's a synagogue over there and it's Rosh Hashanah, so I'm sure they'll have some. A few minutes later, the first bee comes back to his friend. What's that on your head? The friend asks. A yarmulke, replies the first bee. Why are you wearing it? Says the second bee. The first bee responds, I didn't want them to think I'm a wasp. Okay, I'm going to giggle a little bit. Okay, I'll giggle at that one a little bit. So that's I've never heard that one before. That's a pretty good Rosh Hashanah joke, so I appreciate that. I made you sit through my check writing joke. So let's jump into this. You see, I got my ear goggles, and I'm ready to go with my man, fella they call Mario. Here we go. So when last we left Mario, he had just completed the Metro Kingdom. So that's a harsh transition. So just if you haven't been here before, welcome to the Jew Curious Show. We're happy to have you. And on Friday, we do something a little different. Just have a little bit of fun. I'll continue to answer whatever Jewish questions you have while I play a little video game. And so I like to keep it family friendly, the ESRB 10 and up, not the Call of Duty type stuff. Not knocking it, just want to keep this show family friendly. And so I'm going to play some video games for a little while. I'm not ignoring you. I'm still going to be looking at the chat while I try to help Mario on his Odyssey. Doing Mario Odyssey this time. So let's see. Let me go. I'm going to turn off the what's it? The music. Turning up the Mario. Let's make sure. Video, folks. So let's see what's going on here. I think you could probably hear the Mario music as well, and so let's get into it. When last we left Mario, he had completed his Odyssey in the Metro Kingdom. I forget, we were either going to a seaside place or an icy place. So let's see what we chose. Oh, what I do on this scene is travel tip, wall jump. Yeah, I've done that. Okay, so there's Mario and his friend Cappy are enjoying cups of probably delicious Swiss coffee, just like I am. They make good cheese, they make good chocolate, but man, that coffee's good. So, the Seaside Kingdom, that's where we're going next. There is a carbonated sea that's supposed to be quite nice, and it said here, be sure to visit the giant fountains. So, let's see. All right, I'm gonna make a request. I like a good wasp joke as much as the next person, but let's not be knocking on the wasps here. I don't want them to get the wrong idea about the Jew Curious Show, and I say that as a recovering white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. So let's see. We're gonna get. I want to go back to the multi-chat now that we know this works. Let's see. Everybody's being real nice about the Jew Curious School. Thank you so much. And yes, the students are also nice, and you can learn at your own pace. Thanks for the plug. Kay Dixie is one of our early members. Triggers and Viv is there too. So let's check. Let's see what's up with Mario. Thank you for the kind words about the Jew Curious School. I'm pretty proud of it myself, but I couldn't do it without you guys. So let's see what's going on in the Seaside Kingdom. I actually really like this kingdom. I've played this game before, and this is a good one. Some swimming. The boss battle is particularly challenging, but enough talking about it. Let's have an Odyssey. Okay, what's with the soda, bendy straw drinking octopus? What's on the top of that fancy goblet? It's an octopus face. I just want to get back in the ship and leave. Oh, I can't. I gotta get 10 more mini moons. Hey, snail person. Bub Lane used to be a beautiful resort until that foul creature showed up. I guess they're not fond of him. Just look at him, guzzling all of our treasured sparkle water. Won't you help us put a stop to him? I don't mind if I do. Let's see. Thank you for re-asking Jazz Hockey. Okay, let's see. Did I miss a question here? Let's see. It says, thank you for re-asking Jazz Hockey. I don't know if I missed. I see Courtney Smith here. Good to see you, Courtney. Let's see. I'm looking for Jazz Hockey. I don't see him. I think I missed a question. Sorry about this, guys. let's see. A couple of others have chatted asking about working on high holidays. Maybe I'm not catching all the chats that are going on right now. So I'll say, I guess I'm not, there's some questions I'm not seeing here. I'm sorry about that. I thought the multi-chat was working well. But people are asking about working on the high holy days. So traditionally, no, those are days that we take off of work. I know it can be tough because there's a lot of holidays altogether. And my life partner talks about this all the time. Like, she's only got so many days of vacation, and because we take off for the high holidays and the kids are out of school, and she's she has to take all these, and she sings in a choir at a different synagogue on the high holidays, and so she has to take off at a significant amount of work. It like burns through half her vacation time. That's just kind of a compromise we made. But yeah, traditionally these are days that we don't work on. Rosh Hashanah, either the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah or the full day of Yom Kippur, it says these are days of complete rest. Just the same kind of rules as for Shabbat, which means no malacha, which means no creative work, or no creating or destroying. The difference between, say, Rosh Hashanah and Shabbat is that on Rosh Hashanah and the other festivals like Sukkot and Passover and Shavuot, you can cook, right? It's okay to cook food for people on those days because it says you're supposed to be able to feed yourself and celebrate. Shabbat, only one day, you cook ahead and you rest. But for the holidays, it's okay to cook. But let's say compensated employment, creative work, we like to avoid those if at all possible. If it's not possible for you to take off work without losing your job, don't lose your job. God willing, you can make some arrangements ahead of time. Hopefully employers will be kind about this. If you absolutely can't, don't go quit your job or jump off a building or anything, God forbid. But just maybe think about that for planning for next year. Maybe you plan ahead to say, these are days that I'm going to take off, and you give your employer some notice. If you work for somebody else, if they need reasons, this is not, Rosh Hashanah is not a new holiday. Like, we've been doing this longer than a lot of holidays out there. There's lots of information you can find out about it online. Some people will take off the first day of Rosh Hashanah, but not the second day of Rosh Hashanah. That's a common practice as well. But if you want to observe it in the traditional fashion, we don't work on those days, just like we refrain from working on Shabbat. But you do what you can. Like I always tell my students, like, if it's like these laws were given to you to live by, the rabbis say, and not to die by, right? If it's going to starve your family or whatever, do what you have to do. But then as you grow spiritually, try to make arrangements for those things ahead of time in future holidays. So that's my spiel on there. Is there a difference between Rosh Hashanah? Let's see. Thank you, Nawa64, for pasting this. Jazz Hockey says, so what's the status on working in Rosh Hashanah? I have a doctor's appointment on the 1st. My doctor is Jewish, conservative, so that means he's technically working. Nothing life-threatening, only reason that you can't not observe a commandment. When it comes to doctors, it's actually pretty lenient because, life-threatening today might have been, not life-threatening today, might have been life-threatening a long time ago, like the common cold or something like that. So, your doctor is a Jewish person, and Jewish people often strive to follow the tradition and often make their own compromises based on what they do. Doctors have like a wide set of latitude about that sort of thing. So, just I would respect your doctor's decision if it's a decision. If you're asking about the doctor's decision or your decision whether to work, the doctor's decision is up to the doctor. Your decision is up to you. And we all have Yom Kippur to make up for that. So let's see what's going on over here. Alrighty. So let's see. Let's go ahead. Is there one more question, and then I got to fight this soda drinking octopus. Is there a difference between Rosh Hashanah 1 and 2, and are we permitted to wrap tefillin on either day? So technically, there's no difference between Rosh Hashanah day 1 and day 2. It's considered as one long day. The liturgy is about the same. The Torah readings are different. The second day Torah reading is different from the first day Torah reading. The first day Torah reading is about the birth of Isaac and the events around that. The second day Torah reading is about the Akedat Yitzhak, the binding of Isaac, and that sacrifice I was talking about. The Haftarot are different, but the liturgy is exactly the same on day 1 and day 2. And the rules and whatnot are the same for day 1 and day 2. Neither of those days is a day that you would put on tefillin. So generally speaking, Shabbat and holidays we don't wear tefillin, because tefillin are called in the Ve'ahavta, that passage of the first part of the Shema. It says you shall put these words as a sign upon your arm and as a reminder in front of your eyes, or an amulet. Different Totafot has different translations. In front of your eyes, they shall be a sign for you, right? And so, or you place them as a sign, an ot in Hebrew. And ot is also used in reference to Shabbat. So Shabbat will be a sign for all future generations that this is a day of rest. And we don't need 2 signs. So on weekdays, our sign is tefillin. On Shabbat, and by extension holidays, those holy days are signs for us of the covenant. So we don't need to put on tefillin. And if we don't need to, we don't do it. And we don't carry tefillin on those days, etc. Do hair doctors count? Lol. Okay. I don't know if your hair has a life-threatening condition. That's between you and your hair physician, I guess. All right. Thanks for reposting that question. I guess I'm not getting perfectly all the questions here. Very cool. So let's go into protecting the people of this beach resort. These are some pretty terrifying footsteps. Why didn't I follow them? Look, Bowser Prince. Which way did he go? Let's see. When the waters of the 4 fountains combine, they create sparkle water. This miraculous elixir brings happiness to anyone who imbibe it. Let's see. What's this person have to say? What kind of monster would desecrate our beloved fountains? So somebody plugged up the fountains. Yeah, can't do it that way. Got to be a way to unplug these fountains. Okay, here we go. That button is the key to restoring our precious fountains. Oh, and then there's these guys. Okay, so B to jet upward. Woohoo! Okay. Let me, I'm going to turn off the pretzel rocks here. That's our radio station. Hebrewski says, the way those snails all shoot you down is the same way people at mall booths shout you down. Okay. Careful, because those bubble guys can run out of water. Excellent reminder there. Alrighty, so we broke that one. I wonder if that opens up all of them. Or if it's just one. Boosh. Take that, octopus guy. Uh-oh. Owie. I think I just made him mad. That doesn't look like any fun. Uh-oh, he's mad now. 3 fountains left. Let's hop to it. Where is he? Is he upset up there? Kind of a hothead, and he's throwing stuff at us. Uh-oh, uh-oh, whoa, whoa, okay, no, nope. That'll come in handy later. What's this all about? Whoop, look at that. I got 6 lives now. Superfly. Okay. Got some mines in the water here. Those are proximity mines. Trig, let's see, Jazz Hockey says, Trig, some women can have mental breakdowns if we can't see our regular hairdresser for the last minute or special event. Woo, woohoo, okay. Well, yeah, maybe I shouldn't, well, yeah. Glad I had that guy. Oh, now I see how that works. But now I gotta go recharge, apparently. Okay, whoop, up. And... okay, Hot Spring Island. Where's that? Oh, there's the button. how do I get to that button though? Doodly-doo. Okay, so I can remake my own water here. Okay. I have a feeling that if I... Oops, touched some lava. That's hot lava. Oh, oh, there's my power moon. We got a moon, y'all. And presumably broke that thing. Oh, did we get rid of all the hot springs there? Cool. Let's see. Hebrewski said, let me get out of here before I... Oh, look, all the hot springs went away. Hebrewski says, I wonder if Mario is actually the villain. He seems to be the only human in this beautiful ecosystem. Maybe it's a commentary on climate change, so I'm kind of on the side of the angry octopus. All right. You know, we got a Hillel and a Shammai thing going on here. Boop. There's another one. Take that, angry octopus. Okay, just 2 fountains to go. Where's the next one? Oh, there's one over there. Let's see. We got a Tifo. Tifo says, I'm looking to convert to Judaism. Is there a specific time of year I should look into starting my conversion, like when they start the Torah from the beginning? That's a good time. I think hey, come here. There's I would say, like, wait until after Yom Kippur, because, you know, hopefully you'll be learning with a rabbi. And rabbis are, I don't want to complain or anything, but rabbis are kind of busy right now. So often, right, you know, shortly after Yom Kippur, you'll see people starting various conversion to Judaism classes. If you don't have an organized class where you are and you can find a rabbi, maybe they'll work with you one-on-one. I kind of did it with my rabbi, not one-on-one, but it was a very small, informal class as opposed to an organized class. And then if you don't have anything at all in your area, we have a conversion, we'll say an introduction to Judaism class in the Jew Curious school that has, you know, the kind of classwork. I mean, there's more to it than just the classwork, but if you need the classwork piece, then we have an introduction class in the Jew Curious school itself. I highly recommend taking a class with an in-person rabbi if you have access to that. But I created the intro program in the Jew Curious School for the sake of people who don't have that kind of access where they live. So, okay, maybe these things get some local currency here. But if you're looking to, you know, if you're looking to start the process, I would probably wait until after Yom Kippur, just for practical reasons. You're more likely to get a rabbi's attention once the high holy days are over. So Trig's taking off. Okay, kids, duty calls. Much love and shalom. See you later, Trig. Okay, I don't know why I'm up here. There's got to be a way to get up there. Maybe it's underground or underwater. Sinking down. Oh, there's a cave. Nope, not a cave. Just me about to lose all my breath. Okay, anything going on down here that I should know about? How do we get up there? Oh, I wonder if this has anything to do with it. Let's see. The tunnel down there is quite long. Only a fish could make it all the way. I wonder if there's any fish around here. Oh, there's a fish. Hey, buddy, can I borrow you for a second? Can I steal you for a second? Let's see. B to surface. Okay, don't mind if I do. A little fish out of water action. Dive, dive. Let's see, underwater to the lighthouse. Whoop, okay. Whoop, eel guy. Watch out, eel guy. Whoop. I really should have seen that coming. Whoop. Oh man, I'm really bad at this eel stuff. Okay, I wonder if there are any hearts around here. I'll wait for that guy to come out again. Alright, swim, 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 swim. Any other eel caves? Oh, there's one. What? Oh, that looks handy. Later, fish. It's because eels are trafe. Alright. Yeah, there's lots of reasons eels are trafe. They're kind of icky looking. Delicious, but icky looking. I had eels back before I was keeping kosher. I'm actually kind of a fan, but I haven't had them in a while. Alright, I got a moon lighthouse seal. Smashala. Okay, I gotta remember to control myself now that I'm a human. Whoop, boosh. One more. That guy's gonna be mad. Got some chatter in here about the mall kiosk people being aggressive. Okay. Oh, there's one more. There it is, over there. I see it. Question is, how do I get there? Alaka splash. Alright. Maybe go a little faster this way. How far can I go? Oh, I'm underneath it. And I'm about to flop on the beach. Take that, fool. Okay. Go as high as I can. I can't quite get up there. Must be another way. Later. Oh, this is what I have to do. Spiky. Stick close to the walls, it seems like. Except for... Whoa, that guy changed direction on me. Whoa! Okay, that was a good dodge. Oh, that's some little shell money. Eels, yuck. People eat those. I can't imagine eating slugs either. Never tried any shellfish my whole life. The ick factor. Yeah, some people are into shellfish. Some people like the particular funky flavor they have. Really unique. If there are any hearts in any of these. Just because I'm a little short on hearts right now. Oh. Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom, Bashana Tova Metuka, Speaker AJ. Hey, Speaker AJ's in the house. Eel is really tasty, and sushi, I do miss it. I'm going to tell you what I miss from keeping kosher is two things. Catfish, because, well, both things. I grew up in the South lived in Texas till I was about 10, then West Virginia. Two things I miss from kashrut. Catfish, especially fried catfish, nothing like it with some hush puppies, a little bit of ketchup, and biscuits and gravy. You know, good fresh country biscuits with some freshly made sausage gravy. That I do miss. I've had some vegetarian analogs that were passable, but nothing like some good white gravy, usually made from bacon fat or sausage on a biscuit. But I made my choice, so here we are. Okay, everyone, got to go log out. Shabbat Shalom, Mashana Tova. Same to you, Hebrewski. Thank you for joining us. Jazz Hockey says Mario really gets around. Do they have any on his playing ice hockey? There is an ice level later, but for right now, I've got to go. This angry octopus guy is coming at me, so let's see what we're going to do about that. I'm going to go grab one of my friends here. Oh, whoa, that was a pretty far jump, I guess. Because if I remember, this is how I got to get my... Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! I jumped right on his hot head. They're not making it easy for me. Okay, that just made it worse. Now he's just upset. Shabbat Shalom, everyone leaving. Thanks for joining us. This is a fun thing we do on Fun Friday. Really glad to have you with us. Some people on the East Coast spend their lunch hour with us. That's really incredible and humbling. Okay, how do I get on top of this guy? Whoop. All right, I think I just have to get him one more time. Shabbat Shalom, Jazz Hockey. Speaker AJ, I'm receiving the honor of opening the Ark on Yom Kippur at one of my synagogues, and another asked me to do a reading in the afternoon. I feel so humbled. I just want to share the good news with y'all. That's very cool, Speaker AJ. Speaker AJ, if I can say this, a fairly recent member of the tribe. So I just wanted to celebrate that success. And already, you know, as soon as you can do Jewish stuff, they will ask you to do Jewish stuff. Where'd our friend go? Okay, I've completely lost my villain. Here he is. Oh no, octopus man drinking soda pop. Let's see. So Jazz Hockey says, I'm so lucky that I've never had shellfish in my life and haven't had pork since I was a kid, besides hot dogs before they made all the beef ones. I even got kosher hot dogs at Bruins games, of course, in Boston. A lot of Jews in Boston. Their stand is closed on Friday and Saturday and Jewish holidays. That's probably for the best. Mazel Tov, Speaker AJ, on your honors, says Nawa64. K. Dixie says, cheers for Speaker AJ opening the Ark and reading. All right, got some cheers in the community. Glad to see that. Let's see, there's a couple things. If you like what we're doing, there's a couple of ways to make sure it keeps happening. You can send us cheers, and cheers are a thing where it's on Twitch. If you go to twitch.tv/JewCurious, you can watch the live stream there. And a couple of different ways to support the channel. You can throw cheers, which is you buy this like virtual currency on Twitch, and when we do something cool or when somebody announces an honor like Speaker AJ did, you can, it says do cheer. There's a button that says cheer, and then you can contribute a certain number of bits to this channel, and that helps us, that helps power this technology and our bandwidth and all that stuff. The other thing you can do is you can subscribe to this channel on Twitch. So go to twitch.tv/JewCurious, and if you subscribe, then when you watch us on Twitch, you don't see any advertisements. So just on this channel. So it's like cable for the Jew Curious show, if you will. And we get a little bit of that money, and it helps us support the show. So thank you to everybody who's been subscribing and throwing cheer, and feel free to join us if you wish. I think in September, subscriptions are like half price. So instead of being like $5 for a month, it's half of that. So you do the math. So in any case, let's see. My goodness, what a pretty sunset, and so nice that the fountains and the sparkle water are back. All right, let's see what's up with that. But it doesn't it seem like Bowser in this? It doesn't seem like Bowser's in this kingdom anymore. Shall we head to the next? So I guess Bowser was here to get some sparkle water for the wedding. Let's see how many moons we need. Let's see, we got some talk about, let's see, cheers for Speaker AJ, Jazz Hockey, it's like Jazz Hockey says, I've never heard of Arminianism before. KG says, it's the school of thought contra predestination in a nutshell. Interesting. So there's sometimes conversations happen here without me, and that's cool too. I'm just setting the table. Having trouble finding a power moon? I can help you for 50 coins. Want to buy a hint? Oh, why not? I got plenty of coins. Thanks, I marked it on your map with a thing, so take a look. Okay, don't mind if I do. Oh, there's a power moon way over there. All right. Do I even want a power moon that's way over there? Oh, let's see. I've been there. K. Dixie says, if you enjoy this podcast, click on the purple heart and never miss an episode. That's right. If you click on the purple heart on Twitch, that follows us, and you get notified every time we come on live. So that's a great tip. Thank you for that, K. Dixie. Let's see. I'm going to find that power moon around here somewhere. It's on my map with an X. I guess it's close to the hat shop. Oh, wait a minute. That guy's the hat shop. I wonder if the power moon's under him. Sometimes those swimmy guys have power moons underneath them. Oh, yeah, he does. Here we go. You could have marked it on the map, but then it'd be... You have to be a fish to get that one. Take a breath. Excuse me, little whale turtle, or whatever the heck you are. It's like a turtle with no shell. You can get that power moon somehow. Oh, I missed it. Dive, dive, dive. Oh, you guys buzz off. Got it! Oh, yeah. Nessie! Oh, that's what it is. It's a plesiosaur. What's with this guy? Oh, hey, there's another power moon over there. But I have to... Oh. I have to swim over there to get it. I don't know if I have time. That's not possible. Oh, I don't mind if I do. There's the heart over there. There's some more coins. Let's see if we can get these power moons and get out of here. I've been a little bit early today. They've got some rabbinic duties to do. Need to go visit somebody who's in the hospital. And, of course, put the finishing touches, if not beginning touches, no, finishing touches on my Rosh Hashanah sermons before Shabbat. But we'll at least get through this kingdom today. Okay, so I'm in the chest. Gotta find some power moons. Whee! Hey, I didn't forget that was a thing. Okay, now I'm here. There's gotta be a power moon down there somewhere. In this little soda cup. I think it's a Soda Stream, a nice Israeli product. There's another one. I can see something on the other side of this picture. I don't know if I want to go in there. That'll port me to a different kingdom, and kind of don't want to do that. A little surprised there's not a power moon in here. Oh, we'll take a breath. Although, given the context, it's probably carbon dioxide, and I would be passing out right now. Sorry, Mario. Jazz says, you sound like a brain. All of my debates are deep, less stuff. It's okay. Looks like the Loch Ness monster in a way. Okay, where's another power moon for our friend Mario? Whee! I know there's a... So here's the dilemma. There's a power moon over there. By the time I hit the... Let's see, how do I get there fast enough? No, almost. Let's try to go a little faster this time. Go! Just missed it again. Okay. I bet if I go over this way. Do-do-do-do. KG Wilcox is sorry I was a theologian. Snort. That degree was wasted on me. I'm much happier in Judaism. You could be a Jewish theologian. Whoop. Okay. Let's see. There's got to be another way to get a power moon around here somewhere. Let's see. Wait, where'd I go? Where'd I go? Oh, did I get stuck in a game crack? I think I'm stuck in a game crack. Anybody's ever been stuck in a game crack where you get there? Ooh, that was a close one. Oh, there's a power moon up there. How do I get to that power moon? I know how to. If only I had a way that I could use water to make me fly, maybe I could go get that power moon up there. And then there's a snail guy over there. Da 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 da! KG Wilcox says, I'm not clever enough to be a Jewish theologian. Can't master the Hebrew Aramaic. It just takes a little practice. It's a little practice. I never thought I would. I think I started learning Hebrew. Well, I started learning Hebrew alphabet when I was, I don't know, 24, 25 before I converted. But I really couldn't do any Hebrew comprehension until I was, gosh, 33 or so. Let's see. I need one more power moon. So I feel like if I could learn Hebrew and Aramaic starting in my 30s, then that's not impossible for anyone. That's my. I mean, I'm sure there are different learning styles that just can't master languages, but if you can get through a degree in theology, then I think it's possible to learn Hebrew. Hebrew is it's hard. It seems hard because it has a different alphabet to it. The good news is the Hebrew and Aramaic alphabet are exactly the same. In fact, I learned that the characters we use for Hebrew are actually not the original Hebrew characters, but characters that we borrowed from Aramaic. Or the letters are Aramaic letters. Oh, hey, what's up? Something tells me I have to dress differently to get in there, but if I do, there's a power moon in it for me. Okay. So I have to find Nessie, the hat shop. What is this? Oh, I know what these cubes are for. Where's Hat Shop Nessie? I'm going to walk to the hat shop, get dressed in some local things. Let's see, KG Wilcox says, I did Hebrew at uni, but it was a long time ago. I could do it again, but lessons are expensive. Non-Roman alphabets aren't the issue. My first degree was in Russian language, but vocabulary is hard. It's not untrue, but what I was going to say is that Hebrew, in my experience, this was just me, I found Hebrew to be an easier language to learn than I thought because it's often very predictable. It's a simpler language than English in many ways. And the grammar is a little bit more predictable. And I've heard that English is one of the hardest languages to master for non-native speakers because English itself is kind of a mishmash of languages. But Hebrew is relatively simple compared to English. It's just a different alphabet that makes it hard. Let's see, I have just enough to buy some nice resort clothes. Let's see. Bookish Oddish, that would probably be fine to ask. Looking for Bookish Oddish. Can I jump ahead holiday-wise and ask a YK, a Yom Kippur-related question? Absolutely. Go right ahead and ask. That's fine. You can ask anything you want here anytime. Just wanted to put it out there that this is your last chance to learn about stuff about Rosh Hashanah, at least on this broadcast. So whatever question you have, go right ahead. Let's see. Language 1.0. Only a timeless God would make a language with 1.5 verb tenses. Very good. Tater Tot 939 says, I've been going to a mixed level Beit Midrash and found Hebrew words themselves pretty easy since most of them are based on the 3-letter root words, but it's the grammar and sentence structure that seems more confusing. Yeah, no, that's valid, but the thing is, once you master the different verb cases, there's only about 7 of them, plus their passive equivalents, but if you learn the root and you master the vocal structure of the verb tenses, then you can just about decipher any word and sort of its intention. And then flashcards help too. So that's my take on it. Let's see. Magic Turtle says, my sister is getting her master's degree in linguistics. I can confirm that English is a very difficult language to learn because of the inconsistent grammar and spellings, but also makes it really nice to study to trace language shifts. Sure. So let's see. I'll just say Bookish Oddish. If you want to ask a question, go right ahead. All right. Am I wearing my recreation clothes? All right. Looks like I'm ready for whatever was going on in that seaside resort over there. Let me just warp ahead. What do families typically do at home to observe Rosh Hashanah? Dinner. So it's kind of like Rosh Hashanah at home is very much like Shabbat at home. You know, family meals. At dinner and lunch, you'll make kiddush like you do at Shabbat. It's very similar to Shabbat. The blessings are a little different. The text of the kiddush itself is different. But people light candles like they do for Shabbat, but also for other holidays. You light candles, you make kiddush, that's specific blessings said with a cup of wine or juice or something like that. You'll have special foods that are unique for Rosh Hashanah, typically sweet foods like simis, which is like a sweet potato thing, or basically anything mixed together that's sweet. Apples and honey people will eat at home. And so it's very, like I said, it's very much like Shabbat, except with some unique features, like the challah is round instead of oblong. People will have apples and honey as a marker for a sweet new year. But structurally, it's very much like any other holiday or Shabbat, except no matzah. No matzah. And I don't care what the grocery stores say, this is not a matzah holiday. All right, so let's go in here, see what's up. And with that, we'll probably call it a day. Care to dance? Don't mind if I do. Okay. So I guess I just stand there and dance. And then at some point I get a power moon. Boom, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, boom. There we go. Ba-ba-da-ba. Wow, we did a full level today. I think we're going to call it a day after this. Bookish Oddish or anybody else out there, if you have questions, feel free to go ahead and ask. Oh, here we go. Bookish Oddish, I can't fast because of medical things. At my old shul, I used to slip outside to eat food I kept stashed in my car when I needed to. At my new shul, with security concerns and parking logistics, that doesn't seem like it will work. Any advice for talking to my rabbi about how to respectfully bring in food to eat and when others are fasting? The most respectful way you could ask your rabbi is just ask your rabbi. I like, how do I put this? I get really uncomfortable around this topic because there is this sense of kibud rav, or honoring the rabbi. And one of the reasons I do this broadcast is because I think people get embarrassed about asking questions, and they think just the questions themselves will be disrespectful. And I've never encountered a question that I found to be disrespectful, and people have asked me everything, and I've asked all those questions myself. So the most respectful thing you could do is consider your rabbi a human being and say, I have this question I'm a little bit embarrassed about, but your rabbi is probably actually the best prepared to answer that without making you feel embarrassed. Somebody else might be like, fair, we don't ask those kind of questions. But no rabbi worth her or his salt is going to treat you that way. So just ask your rabbi, I have this thing, and rabbis are familiar with this. If you can't fast for medical reasons, it says in the Shulchan Aruch, from like 400 or 500 years ago, if your doctor says don't fast, don't fast. You are forbidden from, jeopardizing your health that way. So there will be other people in the community who probably have this, are in a similar situation. So just ask your rabbi, say, hey, Rabbi, Yom Kippur is coming up, as you probably know, and so I need to eat or I need to drink water or something. Where's the best place in the building for me to do that? Nor, I used to go to my car. But I know that's a thing, getting back and forth through security. So where can I go in this building and do that without being distracting to other people? And your rabbi will tell you exactly where you can go and do that. Or ask somebody else at the synagogue, say, hey, for people who need to eat, where can they go do that? So I would just ask her, if you have access to the rabbi, ask the rabbi, ask somebody else who's been going to the shul for a long time. They know where the eating corner is. So it's okay if it's for medical necessity, you can not fast if it's on the doctor's orders, and the rabbi will understand that and will tell you exactly where to go. So I hope that's helpful for you. Just never be afraid to ask rabbis stuff. If it's rabbi, like, how long have you been a terrible rabbi? That would be like a rude question to ask a rabbi. But barring that, other than that, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Nobody's ever asked me, like, how long have you been a terrible rabbi? Whee! Okay, that rocket ship probably goes someplace, but I don't care. I just want to get on to the next level. And that's probably a bad attitude for me. Alrighty, the Odyssey needs 3 more. Jazz Hockey says, I can fast food, but I have to have at least water about 3 times. And so, you do what you need to do, right? The idea, in the Torah, it actually doesn't say fast. It just says afflict yourself. And so we came up with fasting as one of these modes of afflicting ourselves. And so I know a rabbi who gets terrific migraines if she doesn't eat anything. And so she'll have a little something, like a little bit of tuna or a boiled egg. That's like all she eats all day is like a boiled egg. But that keeps her from, having a terrific migraine that would take her out of services and prayers altogether. So know your body, know what you need to do, listen to your doctor, talk to your local rabbi about, where is a good place to go to eat so it's not upsetting or distracting for other people, and you'll be fine. And so there are other things to refrain from on Yom Kippur. Don't wear leather. Don't have sex with anybody. That's in the rule book too. So there are other ways that you can afflict yourself. Eat a minimal amount of food necessary to maintain your life and health, or water if that's the case. If you have to take a medication with water, it's the doctor's orders. There's an exception for that. So absolutely okay. So the Odyssey's powered up. Where are we going to go next? Probably the Ice Kingdom. Yeah, let's see. Nawa64 says, maybe you could take snacks and just grab a bite in the restroom. Some people don't like to eat in the restroom. That's not judging, but there's probably another place you can go. So I would just ask the rabbi, where do people go when they need to eat something? There's going to be some quiet corner someplace, maybe in the kitchen. Nobody's using it that day, so maybe try that if your synagogue has a kitchen in it. Just don't nibble food in the sanctuary from your pockets or purse. Can nibble in the synagogue restrooms. I don't want to encourage people to eat in the bathroom. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies. So if you do, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, don't feel like you have to be. It's kind of like, I know women get upset when people say, "Oh, if you need to nurse a baby, go sit in the toilet stall." I'm like, that's not where people eat. So hopefully we have better places for mothers to breastfeed than the bathroom. And so. Or maybe, especially in women's rooms, you have I've heard, have a little lounge out there sometimes. So do what you need to do. Ask the rabbi if there's a place you can go short of, hiding in a toilet stall with your feet up on the rim or whatever. All right, now we go to the Snow Kingdom. Yeah, ladies' restrooms are a bit different. Some have a seat. Let's see. We're going to go see what the Snow Kingdom looks like, and then we're going to call it a broadcast. If you have any questions, now's the time to ask. Really appreciate people joining us from Facebook and YouTube and Twitch today. It's been my great joy to learn with you, to play a little bit of Mario with you as well, to talk about the Feast of Trumpets, and just we're going to check out the Snow Kingdom, and then we're going to call it a day. So, got any questions? Get them in right now. Let's see, my sister, let's see what else is going on. Yeah, KJ Wilcox says, lol, matzah for everyone. Every single Jewish holiday, the major grocery stores put out matzah. And I kind of want to say, like, it's just one holiday. You guys know that? Well, look, if you're going to put, at least they're thinking about us, which is nice. So Bowser wants to make a toast using the sparkle water. Seeing as how we got some time to kill. I don't know the ground pound jump. I know the ground pound jump. Here's a tough one. Let's see. Tifo says, how could I observe Shabbos in a non-observant family or home? A little bit at a time. So that's my recommendation. It's not impossible, but just let the people in your family, let the people in your home know what you're doing. You observe what you can observe personally, and maybe they'll be inspired by that. Maybe they'll say, like, hey, he's, relaxing. Maybe I should relax too. So I would say don't try to do, and this is in general how I teach about Shabbat, don't try to do everything at once. Like, don't try to observe all of the different restrictions for Shabbat at once, especially if you haven't done it before or haven't been doing it for a long time. When people are born into a Shabbos observant household, they just pick those things up as habit. But for a lot of us, we're moving into it, as adults, young adults, not so young adults. And if you try to do everything at once, you will totally get overwhelmed. You'll get frustrated. You'll frustrate the people in your family and in your household. And in the end, it won't be conducive to a long-term practice. So what I suggest is try a few things at a time. Say, I'm going to stop working today. And then in a couple of weeks, say, well, I'm going to not handle money, or I'm not going to go shopping. And, if you're really serious about, let's say, not using electricity, worry about that in your private space more so than in the family public spaces and things like that. And just kind of, work into it slowly yourself, and also the people in your family, your household will learn about it gradually, and they're less likely to give you a hard time about it. Less likely. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but that's how I would go about it, Tifo. Let's see. Alrighty. Let's see what the Snow Kingdom is all about, and then we're going to call it a day. And a year, I guess. We'll call it a year. Brr, it looks so cold, and it sounds like the races in town are quite popular, and the prize is a frosted cake. I wonder what Bowser's looking for. All right, I am definitely underdressed for this kingdom. It's not really cool to go straight from, oh, the cake's parting gift. I guess I should go there. Let's not dilly-dally. Okay, what's this all about? Can't wait for snow season. I'd say that too, but I live in Southern California. It is never snow season. Okay, Shiveria Town. We're gonna, I think with that, as cold as it is, sorry chattering Mario, we're gonna call it a day here. So let's really appreciate everybody joining me in the chat today. Really appreciate everybody hanging out this year and learning with us a ton in 5779. I'm really looking forward to learning way more with you in 5780. And there's going to be some, changes and additions to the Jew Curious School coming up. I'll announce that when I'm ready to announce that. But for right now, just remember, always check out on jewcurious.tv twitch.tv/Jew Curious. You'll see the countdown timer for our next episode. I need to change that because we're not going to have a Monday episode for a while, but we're going to keep doing Fun Fridays all the way through the holiday season. It's been my great joy to learn with you today, to play a little bit of Mario with you today, and really super grateful this year for the great community that we built, and looking to continue that and build on that in 5780. And I just want to say to everybody who is here live and everybody who is watching this later, Shana Tova Umetuka, have a wonderful, sweet new year filled with abundant blessings, good health, happiness together. And so with that, I'm going to say, till next time, heroes, peace.